My new frat brothers tried to drown me during pledge week. They had no idea who I really was. I'm 26, but I look 19, and when a kid named Trevor drowned during a fraternity initiation and the coroner ruled it accidental, the state attorney's office needed someone to go undercover. I'd wear a wire, pledge the fraternity, and document everything while a team monitored from an apartment across the street. My first night as a pledge, the fraternity president Colton lined all 14 of us up in the basement and walked down the row like we were cockroaches. You are nothing. You are less than nothing. You are whatever we say you are. And right now, I say you're worthless sacks of shit who haven't earned the right to breathe the same air as your brothers. He stopped in front of a skinny kid who was visibly shaking. Are you scared, pledge? The kid nodded. Colton grabbed him by the throat and slammed him against the wall. Good. The last pledge who cried during Hell Week ended up in the hospital with a collapsed lung. He let go, and the kid slid to the floor gasping. Colton looked at all of us, and the one before that ended up in a body bag, but I'm sure that won't happen to any of you. The first week was designed to break us. They woke us up at 3 a.m. by dumping ice water on our faces and made us do push-ups in the freezing basement until our arms gave out. When someone collapsed, they kicked them until they got back up. They quizzed us on fraternity history, and when we got answers wrong, they made us hold our hands over lit candles until our palms blistered. They starved us for 3 days, and then put a single pizza in front of 14 guys and said whoever didn't get a slice would be dealt with. I watched pledges tear each other apart fighting for food while the brothers filmed it laughing. Then they punished everyone anyway. One pledge tried to quit on day 4, said he was going to the dean. Colton got very quiet and said, "You can leave whenever you want, but we have photos of you doing things that would destroy your family. We have videos that would end any career you ever try to have. Walk out that door and keep your mouth shut forever, or I'll make sure your life is over before it starts." The kid left and I never saw him at school again. I wanted to blow my cover right there, but I knew if I did, Colton would walk free and keep doing this forever. So I stayed quiet and let my wire catch everything. Then Colton started focusing on me. "You're too calm," he said, shoving me against a wall. "Everyone else is breaking and you're just standing there like you're above all this." He grabbed my jaw hard enough to bruise. You know what happened to Trevor? He thought he was above it too. Thought he was tougher than everyone else. Colton smiled and it was the coldest thing I've ever seen. We proved him wrong. The final night, they drove us to a lake at 2 a.m., freezing cold and pitch black. Colton announced that the final ritual was called rebirth. They tied our hands behind our backs and said we'd be held underwater until we died as pledges and were reborn as brothers. One by one, they shoved pledges into the water and held them under. I watched one kid come up vomiting and sobbing. I watched another thrash so hard, it took 3 brothers to keep him down. And when he came up, his eyes were empty like something inside him had broken. Then it was my turn. Colton grabbed me by the neck and whispered, "Something about you makes me want to see how far you'll bend before you break." He shoved me under and held me there. My lungs started burning. My body started convulsing. I'd been under for almost a minute when he finally pulled me up. I gasped for air and he laughed. "That's nothing. Trevor was under for 4 minutes. You want to know a secret?" He leaned close. He stopped fighting after 2. The other 2 minutes were just us seeing what would happen. He shoved my head back under. "Let's see if you last longer." My team was supposed to intervene if my life was in danger, and apparently a second drowning attempt qualified. I heard shouting and the hands on my head were gone. I came up gasping and saw flashlights everywhere and agents swarming the shoreline. Colton was face down in the mud, screaming about his father's lawyers. I walked over dripping wet and pulled out my credentials. "I'm with the state attorney's office. Everything you've done has been recorded, including what you just confessed about Trevor." Colton went white. "I was just trying to scare you. You held him under for 4 minutes and watched him die and called it an accident." I crouched down so he could see my face. "I'm the pledge who's about to make sure you never hurt anyone again." Colton is serving 25 years for second-degree murder. 11 brothers took plea deals and testified against him. The fraternity was permanently banned nationwide, and 6 of my fellow pledges are suing the university for millions.